The middle class was once a symbol of the American dream. But the American middle class today paints quite a different picture.
Being middle class, I feel like you're really just in between a rock and a hard place. You're in a spot where everyone's like, hey, you're doing better than, low class. You're doing great. You should be fine. And you're underneath the people who are actually doing fine.
It was at least a secure category. Your kids would go to a school that.
This is a very, very touchy subject. And I've personally been screaming this for years to my personal small circle, people around me. Um, People seem to get what the middle class actually is misconstrued between rich and poor. As time progresses and inflation goes up, the cost of living goes up, the middle class is shrinking day by day. And later on in the video, I'm gonna kind of get into why I think people have this preconceived notion of what the middle class is and why I think that it no longer exists.
You felt at least okay about. You probably own a car or two, and you'd own your own home, and you could pay for your kids' college educations. So there were certain kinds of assumptions around being a middle class person that have sort of shattered.
A survey in 2018 found that a third of middle-income adults don't have $400 to cover an unexpected expense.
In polls, when people are asked about being middle class, they frequently are less likely to say so.
And that's the thing, like this preconceived notion that if you have a home and two nice cars, you are middle class. Technically you are, but in my opinion, it's a high percentage of those people that are actually poor. And my point for making that is that just because you own a home and you have two nice vehicles does not make you middle class. Middle class, if you want to put it in technical terms, are people that are in control of their finances. People that have 6 to 12 months of emergency funds. People that if something came up, they can move a vehicle real quick and get off from under a loan. People that don't have a lot of credit card debt. Now the notion that, oh, I have this nice home and these two nice cars, I'm middle class, and which really not, it's just a lie. You a slave to your creditors, and a lot of people just don't seem to get it.
And more people now urge the pollsters to suggest that they're working class. So I think that many people who maybe in prior years would have thought of themselves as middle class now no longer think of themselves that way.
So when we think about economic status, we think about it as some static, state of the world, that you are either poor or not poor, you're middle class or you're not. But in fact, the reality is that many middle class families will experience.
And you have to think about this. Like I say, I'm Mr. Logic, so y'all gonna hear me say this a lot. I think in logic. That's how I live my life. I think in logic. If you have a mortgage, say you purchase a home for $500K, even at a 4% interest rate, if you stay in that home, retire in that home and pay that home out the whole 30 years, that $500,000 loan is probably going to cost you somewhere around 1.2 million that you have to pay the bank back. So in all actuality, you've paid 1.2 million for a $500,000 house. And yeah, it's true enough. By the time the 30 years is up, that house may be worth 1.5 or $2 million. But you have to think in the terms of, okay, I've given the bank 1.2 and I can sell it for 2 million. So when you doing the numbers, the investment really isn't that good of an investment. And that's the thing. The average American person don't seem to understand. The preconceived notion of owning a home as a good thing is slowly disappearing. Not saying in all situations. If you can get a good solid mortgage, 30-year fixed at a low rate in the right area, yes, definitely real estate is worth it. But most of the time you become a slave to the lenders and you make them rich. And a lot of people have this notion that, oh, I need a home, I need the two nice cars, and it's more so about an image that they are portraying and not paying attention to financial stability. That same $1.2 million, if you would have put that into the market over 30 years and just maintained a simple life, rented you a nice condo or something, that same $1.2 million put into the market in the right investments will give you bare minimum. If I had to throw the number out there, you gonna average on the low side 12 to 15% return. Then you compound that over 30 years. So that 1.2 million, you probably looking at somewhere around $6 to $9 million easily in 30 years. So if you sit back and ask yourself, what is the best return? What's the best investment? It's going to be to invest in stocks, ETFs, index funds, not a home that's going to go down in value eventually. And when I say go down in value, I mean because the cost to own it, the cost to pay the bank back is just not worth it in a lot of circumstances, not all circumstances.
One or a few years in poverty. In fact, most American families will have years where they'll be poor or near poor. That precarity, that uncertainty, that is now a feature of the middle class experience for most US families.
This is Pod 5.
The United States middle class is dropping off of a cliff. It's no longer a middle class. It's either going to be rich or poor. You need to pick a side. And the way you pick a side is how you invest, controlling debt, and not being a slave to lenders in these different companies that give these people these high prime rate loans. And that was the caveat to the 2008 crash, is that people were signing up to these easy mortgages to get with 3-year, 4-year, 5-year arms. And when the 3 to 5 years ran up, the bank came knocking on the door like, hey, you either need to refinance or you're going to lose the home. And then if they had an adjustable rate loan, then the payments went, up 5, 10, 15% in some cases, all in the side of 12 to 18 months, which in turn helped burst that economic bubble that was already brewing, which is another one is brewing again. 18.5-year cycle. I'm going to say it a million times. We always have an economic reset. That is just how things go. So be prepared, be ready. Don't be asleep at the wheel, because we got 2 interest rates this year. We'll probably get another one later on this year. Money is going to get cheap in the next 12 to 18 months. And people are going to go out here, flood the market, and buy these overpriced houses that are already overpriced and hadn't had a chance to reset. And that will be the worst time to buy a home, because when the market resets and we have this economic collapse in the next 3 to 4 years, you're going to be left holding the bag when you've been overpaid on these mortgages. So please pay attention. Read you some books, do some research. This is not financial advice. Oh, and I also want to say I appreciate the support. Please like and subscribe. I got daily info coming out, just a guy on the internet giving my honest opinion about what's going on in the world. Y'all have a blessed day.